Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of This Week in Toy Culture. My name is Aras Zandia. With me always is the awesome Michael Burgi.
What's
Um,
going?
sa- yeah, no, sadly enough, we haven't been on for the past 2 weeks because of Christmas holiday shopping, some of the other stuff, technical difficulties. But I know, days. It's just days away for Christmas, so I feel like there's really no need to talk about any new toys coming up because look, I'm just gonna give everyone the quick rundown. If you haven't picked up or pre-ordered the Dark Saber that Hasbro released not too long ago,
Oh yeah.
and it's still available on Hasbro Pulse's website. Not only is that available, but Slave One, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Slave One from the Vintage Collection is still available. And if it does get sold out within this next couple of days, go to this guy's GameStop or go to any other GameStop and make your pre-order. But same thing. Funko Pop's coming out. Any other thing that's just going to be happening. Go and enjoy the holidays. We're all about holiday cheer. But how would you feel if I brought a little extra guest with us today?
Oh, I think I'd be okay with that.
Right? How about something of let's say, a British and Canadian royalty?
Ooh, you have me intrigued, sir.
Yes.
You have me intrigued.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, he, she, it, every single person that we can think of. Today we have a very special guest. And yes, we are sticking it to a very toy culture event as well, too. We have today the daughter of the British Bulldog. He is a two-time WWF Tag Team Champion, a Intercontinental Champion, a two-time Hardcore Champion, and a two-time European Champion. What also people don't know is he is also a WWA International Champion. He is a two-time Stampede International Tag Team Champion, a Stampede British Commonwealth Mid-Heavyweight Champion, a two-time Stampede International Tag Team Champion, yes, with Dynamite Kid, a two-time North American Heavyweight Champion, and the World Mid-Heavyweight Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome the daughter of the British Bulldog, Ms. Georgia Smith.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today, Georgia. I know you're...
You listed off so many that I didn't even think of, but you missed one.
I did miss one, right? But I missed one. What I miss?
Hall of Famer.
Oh, yes. And
the most important one of all. You missed
2020 WWE 2000 inductee into the Hall of Fame. Yes.
Yes. I'm here, and I'm so glad.
I mean, I just want to say and get off the bat as well too. It has been, I would say, since Facebook started and the campaign started, I'd say good 10 years. A huge 10 plus years that I can remember that there has been a giant campaign for for Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and well deserved. Sadly, we have to wait till next year.
Yeah, he's going to be like a 2020, 2021 Hall of Famer. So, just that makes Davey special. That makes him. Michael Finney started the campaign in England. He started about 2012 or 13, and he got about nearly 30,000 signatures on his petition. And he was always with WWE, and he made a big dent in it. And yeah, they finally, they took notice. I also kept,
You kept it going. Don't forget, you kept it going too, because while this was happening in just a few short years, I'd say for the past 2 or 3 years, or has it been a little bit longer?
Years.
Yeah, you've been going to almost any single wrestling event you get your hands on, any single store signing that you have been invited to. You have brought almost every single one of the British Bulldog memorabilia or whatever your dad had in that closet, trunk whatsoever, from his trunks to the infamous Heart Foundation leather vest jacket, whatever.
Yep.
And what size is that leather vest? Was it 4X the last time I remember? Or was it 3X?
Yeah, I think it was something. It's something like that. It's massive. Well, you saw it. It's heavy. It's very, But you can get replicas of them from Wrestle Merch Central. They're not cheap because obviously it's real leather, hand painted. But if you want that look, you can get it. And yeah, I've been doing that for 2 years. And his social media, you've seen it's kicked off. And
Yes.
yeah, Davey he's a very popular man right now. He's in demand. He's super busy.
So in demand that Target has an exclusive. We'll get to that in just a minute. We'll get to the history of the action figures and the history of your father. I guess we'll try to go with the history of the action figure to some stories. I know you have a lot of stories from back then, or most that you can remember. I know a little different from going out to get diner food to like immediately sitting here interviewing you from last time.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll cover all of that. And as I showed you before, I've got almost every single figure.
Yes, I think I'm missing a few pictures. I don't know if you're missing a few toys as well too. If anyone, if Kevin showed it, let her know.
Yes.
Let her know exactly where she can find the latest toys. And even though her birthday passed, Christmas is also there too. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael, before we begin and we start the toys and everything, do you have anything you want to ask and add to what I just said as well too? You're a big fan of it as well too. You can gloat.
I'm a huge fan of wrestling, and I remember growing up watching, the British Bulldogs and watching the wrestling and stuff like that. And I always loved the fact that, Davey would come out and the way he wrestled and everything like that. I was a huge fan. So to be able to talk to you is kind of cool.
Aww.
And he has some great stories and stuff about your dad and, his time in wrestling, plus the action figures and, to see his progression as to what he did throughout his wrestling career, along with the toy line, his attributes and everything. I think it's amazing that we're going to be able to chat with you about this tonight. So I'm looking forward to it. So this is going to be a good time.
Oh, yay. I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Now let's nerd out with the toys. And I guess the first in line will say it starts back in 1986. At this point in time, Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid are tag team contenders. At this point in time, LGN releases individual figures of the LGN figures. And at this point in time, your dad is now a one-time Stampede tag team champion.
Yep. And
midway through, he is the WWF champion. During this time, like, what kind of fun stories have you? I guess the first dog would be Matilda, right? Matilda was the first dog, or was it Winston?
So yeah, this time it would have been Matilda, who was on the road with them for a bit, and Matilda only really liked my dad. She did not like Dynamite, and she didn't like him too much. Oh yeah, Dynamite was like, "Oh, give her to Dave." So it was like she was always with him, and Matilda, she actually bit Harry on the face. He's got a little scar. She was.
Wait. So that mark.
Yeah.
Wait. So that mark under his nose. I didn't ask him how that scar came because your brother does a lot of hardcore matches.
Yeah,
Let's talk about. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got. So how old was Harry when he first got that first mark?
He must have been like 4 years old.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he was just playing like with his wrestling dolls at the top of the stairs, and she just went up and bit him, and my dad was really not happy about it. But she was. I think she was just kind of like over it and wanted to retire. Was just cranky.
I'm done with the road. I want to go home, play with my chew toys.
Yeah, play with my chew toys. And keep in mind, she was a show dog and was like, breeding puppies prior to that. And then next thing you know, she's living the life of wrestling and doing that and traveling. Bulldogs don't travel anymore because of their faces, but back then she was a jet setter everywhere and just different places all the time. And she was probably like just like diva'd out and like, I'm over this. Yeah.
Wait. So at this point in time, Matilda is an international puppy superstar, we'll say, going from Canada to Europe, parts of Mexico, all around the United States. Did the dog ever make it to Japan?
I don't think she did.
I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think she did. No.
I wouldn't risk that time either.
No, good God, no. But she was very territorial of my dad, and if my mom were to come into the bed with my dad, Matilda would pee on that spot. Like, you're not. This is my spot.
She mocked her territory.
Yep, she marked her territory. This is my man.
I was gonna say, they do say certain dogs will do that. They will bond with one person, one family member, and that's it. And they will protect that person until the end. We had a dog when I was a kid. My father was that person. No one else. You couldn't get near my dad. She was very protective. So similar there.
Yep, that was Matilda, and then Winston was like that too. Winston only let my dad walk him. He only trusted my dad. The Bulldogs. Although the Bulldogs, they had that loyalty.
Did they? And right after that time as well too, LGN later released the Dynamite Kid, the British Bulldogs 2-pack. It's pretty much the same figure, just re-released, but with championship belts. And a nice giant box.
Those are really, that one's really hard to find, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. I believe the anything tag team related was very difficult to find.
Especially in this type of pack, to get two of them at the same together. These are very rare and hard to come by.
Yeah. Super hard, super rare. Yeah, it's the LGNs, baby. And right after the LGNs, we go right into the I guess at this point in time, the tag team is pretty much disbanded right after the 1990s. Right after they lose the tag team championships, they go back to Stampede Wrestling back in the late 80s, early 90s, and they are disbanded. At this point in time, how'd your dad think or feel during the splits?
He felt like it was something he had, because Dynamite didn't want to go back to WWF at the time. And my dad was like, because Vince, I think, saw them, from what I recall, he saw them backstage at I think it was a New Japan show or an All Japan show. And he was like, oh, you guys look great. Dynamite look great. I'd love to have you back. And Dynamite said, like, maybe in 10 years.
Oh.
Just like, whatever. Yeah, he was like very bitter about it. And then he went up to my dad and he's like, Davey, you look really good. And my dad was like, oh yeah, like he was open to it. And Dynamite was like, why would you say that? And like he was like very like that was kind of like the crack in that ice there. Yeah. And my dad was like, because my dad, they were struggling for money, and they were making, as you can imagine, good money in WWF at the time. And then, they did some stuff in Japan, and Dynamite just wanted to stay in Japan and do that whole circuit. But my dad didn't. He wanted to go back to WWF, and that was like. And then Dynamite was like, "All right." Well, as you saw in that Icons clip, he was like, "You're not going to make it without me. Bye." Like, never talk to my dad again.
Yeah, and this I don't know if this is true, or this shocked me as well too. British Bulldog and Dynamite Kid are actually cousins?
Yes, they're cousins. Yeah.
First cousin, second cousin.
First cousins. Yeah, he's my second cousin. Dynamite is my dad's first. Yeah.
So there you go. Already the start of the family animosity happening during Splitsville.
Well, and as well, keep in mind, like years before that, before my dad even came to Canada and was wrestling and was wanting to go to Canada, Dynamite is like, he was in Canada first, and Dynamite was like, he's not coming here. He's not coming here. I'm the only one. Yeah. And like when they were training, like being brought up, they were like, Dynamite's going to be the only wrestler here. David's not. They were like, There was some like weird rivalry there. And it was like, well, why can't they both do it? Nope. There's always been like this tiff with the Billingtons and the Smiths, and Dynamite was, he was a bit, as you've probably heard, he was a bit went too far with the ribs and was a bit sadistic. God rest his soul. I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but he went
a little too far with the jokes.
Went a little too far, and my dad was one that he went too far with, and my dad had enough and like was wanting to go back to England, and because he wasn't happy, and Dynamite was like making every single day of his life awful, and because Dynamite wanted him out. He wanted him to get out.
All right. So real quick thing, as your dad's getting rid by Dynamite, didn't he also get rid by Owen a bunch of times too? At this point in time, he had to get an extra set of backbone or something, because I heard Owen was a huge ripper.
Later on, because Owen was probably like a teenager around these. Like he was super young.
I heard he was as a kid. He was more sadistic as a kid.
No, Owen was very like innocent. Like he was very like, oh, I'm gonna prank call this person, or I'll put peanut butter in this person's underwear to make it look like they had a mess in their pants or something. Like that was like
I heard I heard that story from Rikishi and The Godfather. A few of those peanut butter stories,
yeah.
especially when they've had a little too much to drink at times. But during '90s, like say from literally from 19, then they had another short career back in the '90s in 1992, 1993. British Bulldog ends up in not only ECW, ends up back in New Japan, and has a short, crazy barely 1 year run at WCW,
Yep.
where he pins Vader at a European tour show. Then all of a sudden it's reversed. Then he gets to a bar fight, standing up for your mother, and then all of a sudden WCW fires him.
Yeah.
That is like the craziest short story I've ever heard in my life, where a guy wins the title, gets reversed, strangely gets into a bar fight, then a few weeks later is automatically released from the company.
Yeah, like I was like 7 years old when that was all going on, and like I didn't really understand what was happening. I just remember like it was like around Valentine's Day, and it was like freezing and snowing in Canada, but we were in Florida at the time, and my mom was like, we were going to Canada, and I thought it was like a family trip. No, it was because my dad was going to court there because these accusations and this thing happened in Canada at this, pardon my language, this shitty nightclub. So yeah, they were there, and yeah, I remember like doing my homework and like different things at my aunt's house in Canada, and like I remember not seeing my parents for like days, and like just staying with like different aunts and cousins, but I was like, cool, watch movies and watch my
out with some family,
whatever. And
family time from house to house to house.
Yeah, and then I remember a few times actually going into the courtroom, and I was like, whoa, and like they're like grilling my dad and like telling my dad he's a fake and he's this, and like old people like coming out of the woodwork, like these sorry old like people that never made it, and it was like I know how strong Davey Boy can stampede, like Jason the Terrible, who had the Jason gimmick,
Yes, I remember
that. I don't even have the words for that person, but he was like, I can honestly say Davey did probably do that, and he's so strong, and it's like, what did you gain? What do you gain out of doing this, buddy? Like, you want my dad to go to jail for 7 years? You weren't even there. You didn't even see it.
To be honest, from the way your dad has raised you and your brother, I don't see that. I see your dad being that person that if you became his best friend, he has your back.
Yeah.
Like he fully had your back. And there's another story, we'll get to that down the line, and it comes to a specific title, we'll say as well too. But he gets cut from WCW. And also he's dealing with an injury at the same time too. He takes a good solid 1 year off. He comes back during Survivor Series, of course, gets counted out. Then he joins. Explain this little strange little thing: the Powered Alliance with Lex Luger.
I don't really remember like the rhyme or reason for that happening. I think
this looked like it was too short, because all I saw was the photos, and I watched wrestling like crazy at that time, and I don't remember the Allied Powers.
I remember it briefly because I just remember like that was the year I got the Donkey Kong video game. It was like that time. So I remember like watching my Saturday morning WWF and then, playing my Donkey Kong, or yeah, that's what it's called.
Yes, playing Donkey Kong Country for Super Nintendo at this point. Yes.
That's what it was. And I remember like they did like the Macy's Day Parade. I don't know if you remember seeing that. Like those two were doing that, and they put them together because of their physiques. And Lex and my dad were friends. Yeah. Lex used to come to our house with his kids, and like he really liked my dad. My dad liked him, and I don't know. And then one day it was like Davey's a heel now, and he's cutting his hair. And that was it. And I kind of like didn't understand why that was happening. But
right, I missed. Yeah, I really missed the key point. I'm sorry. 1992, the infamous SummerSlam in Wembley Stadium, and as Bergie, I think, wants to chime in on this one. The only guy right now that can get away with cornrows and bees all the way down to here.
Man. Only like I made a joke the other day. I said he's the only white guy I know that could get away with that, and no one would say a word to him because look at the size of your dad. He was monstrous, man. He had to walk through doorways sideways. He was so muscular and stuff like that. I remember watching those wrestling matches, seeing those beads, and then all of a sudden, like you said, one day he came in and he had like the crew top in a way, and it was like, what happened? And then that's when they made him the heel, and they were trying to push him as the bad guy, which would give him more screen time, obviously. And that was his way of just trying to reinvent people to keep them fresh on the mat and keeping them fresh in the matches, which I get and understand. But to everybody, he was a hero. He wasn't a heel,
No, he was so much better here as a baby face.
Like,
he just had the look.
Just look at 1992 SummerSlam of how. Now, this will be the first time ever where the Intercontinental Championship is the main event.
Yep.
And all eyes are on at this point in time, the family. Not only is it Uncle Brett and your father, David Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, but also your mom's now in the mix of this crazy storyline of family tick for tat. And this is now, I would say, part 2 of the family feud, we'll say, sort of.
Yeah.
How is that? Yeah. How is that in the house? Because I know, like, back then it was K-Fed. You didn't really talk about it as much. You had to play good guy, bad guy, and be separated at times and kind of fight. How was your mom dealing with Brett at the time?
It was all good. My mom was just like, I remember it was very like stressful in the household, and like she was good. Like she kept it like at home. She kept that going. That character. But as well, my dad had a staph infection in his leg, and he really, really wasn't doing well, and was like sweating profusely and was just like sick. And he actually had to get a big like syringe in his leg. Like he had to like go to like emergency doctor, and they had to like what's the word? Like suck out, drain.
Drain out the fluid in his knee.
Drain out all the fluid. Yeah. And when my mom saw like that, she was like she I think fainted. And she was seeing this, and she was very, very emotional. And I think there's a promo that you see her at my grandparents' house, and she's like crying, but she was like, but it was very believable because she was like crying and about what my dad was going through at the time. But she made it like, and I just don't know what to do. And they're my brother and my husband, and it's just there's lots of little things you're making me remember now. And I remember being at my grandparents' house in England, and I remember seeing my dad like in bed because he still like wasn't well. And
this is like weeks before the event, right? This is like weeks before the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah. And like you see like the promos building up to it, and you're seeing Davey talking and you're seeing Brett talking, and I'm like, how is he gonna, like, at 4 or 5 years old, I'm like, how is he gonna wrestle? Like, how is he gonna do this? But they did it. They made it. You know how old my dad was when he did that?
I would say late 20s, right?
Yeah, he's 29.
Yeah. Late 20s. What a man.
It's crazy.
I mean, at this point in time, we'll talk about like a bit of wrestling history. If you weren't part of the Hart, like I said, the Hart family or Stampede Wrestling at the time, there was actually 2 families: the Anahu family, and which is all the Samoan families that comes with The Rock, to the Usos and everything. And you also had the Hart families as well too, where they were bred at teenagers to be wrestlers, to be adults, to being champions. You're looking at 28-year-old British Bulldog, and at that point in time, I thought he was in his 30s. I thought he was a lot older than what he looked like. I thought he's been in the business for such a long time that that later down the line, I was actually shocked of how young he was in real life.
Yeah, because like when WWE was here filming, they played SummerSlam, and they were like, "Wow, I can't believe this." It was just like the crew, like freelance people, so like they kind of knew who my dad was, but they're there filming, and I was like, do you guys know like how old my dad was? And like you said, they were like, oh, like in his 30s. I'm like, no, my dad was like 29. They were like, what? And they're like, all this footage and these stories you guys have told and all this stuff of your dad's, we would have thought he was around for like 100 years.
Right. Because Brett was no more than in his late 30s.
Yeah.
He was actually mid 30s at the time.
Mid-30s, yeah.
Mid 30s. So not only was he in WWF in his he was Stampede champion in his teens, and then literally being in a tag team marker in his like 20s, and by the time he's Intercontinental Champion, he's in his almost 30s, getting like there.
Yeah. Oh hey.
So
Sorry.
so no, that's fine. That's the whole point. And then we're gonna go back, and then after the Allied powers, we get now the sort of start of the Hart family, we'll say, and this is the British Bulldog and Owen Hart tag team run, which is actually one of my actually it's one of my favorite runs because this is the longest stepping stone ever. Owen Hart like going back to WrestleMania 13 to like Owen Hart backstabbing Brett, and then your dad coming in also backstabbing Brett. Brett and Owen form a tag team. They become tag team champions. And the interesting part is that later down the line, we also get into this history of this championship belt right here, and that is the European Championship. So your thoughts on the British Bulldog Owen run that was happening at the time, and the family feud, because I still remember watching on TV that Raw, your Uncle Brett going on there. I still remember like to this day because that made me tear as a kid. As a kid, that made me tear because I have a younger brother. Seeing Brett, the way he acted, grabbing his grabbing Davey and everything. Your thoughts on that whole tick for tat storyline, we'll say.
Isn't that weird how like you like me myself included, like you remember that moment more than you might remember like something that happened on a show like yesterday?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you have when you have siblings, those are the parts that like get you the most. And we'll say this, like if you remember when Merle turned into a zombie and Daryl had to go kill his brother in Walking Dead, that was a tear-jerking moment as well too in TV.
Yeah. You just made me think of that. That was a really, well, for me, it was like a really fun time in wrestling because like they were coming out with like really good promos, and like I think they were turning into kind of villains at that point, right? Because like America hated them so much, and like they all came out with like such good promos then. Like Brett was so good on the mic, and then Davey like. There was like it was like comedy, and that was really fun.
It was DX before DX. This was the tick for tat. These were the rib stories that the infamous rips during this time is the infamous Owen rib stories that I keep hearing about.
Yeah. Davey and Owen they ribbed a lot of people, and I actually posted on my dad's Instagram. I don't know if you saw it, but like it was the clip of them prank calling people. But that was like in the heat of those days. I guess they were just on the road and just bored and was like, "What can we do?"
sort of how like your brother does those prank phone calls.
Yeah,
Yes, so.
It's like the next generation. Oh God, that's so funny.
But literally during the British Bulldog Owen Hart tag team run, we also get the start of the Hart Foundation, and not only get the start of the Hart Foundation, we also get the first. I mean, they made a championship belt based on your dad. And talk about the European Championship belt.
Vince made that like specifically for my dad.
Yeah,
and I remember my dad bringing it home, and I remember it was really heavy, and I remember it was in a velvet bag, and like he took such pride in it. And when you were talking about before with Owen and my dad as a tag team, I remember like those two, they worked so good as a tag team, and like when they faced each other. And my dad had said one time as well, he was saying that like when we're going back to Lex, he said that like Lex and him didn't really gel well. Like they were friends, but there was just not that chemistry. But when you see Owen and my dad, like it was just like perfect.
It's family, because when family dynamics work with each other, when you have, I would say this, your British Bulldog did carry Owen at times, and Owen was always like the mini underdog, but it kind of worked because at this point in time you had the 2-time Slammy Award Owen Hart, while British Bulldog was running around with the European title around his waist, and then later Owen getting the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
And then we get that infamous break your neck storyline too.
Yeah, and the promos, like I'll watch promos now from like Davey and Owen back then, and I'm like, how did these two keep a straight face?
Yeah.
Like but it's crazy. Like, I don't know if like you could go, like if you could do that today. Like some of the stuff like they just came up with, and like my dad said something one time, and he's like, it was something like Clark Griswold once said. He was like, "I don't give a frog's fat ass what they think." And I'm like, what the? Wait, I don't know if that would like be cool now to say, but
pretty cool to say. I mean,
the problem is the people on the mics nowadays can't cut a proper promo. I hate to say it. Like, it's one of the main reasons I lost interest in wrestling now, because none of these guys can talk. They barely know how to cut a promo. They look like they're looking at a cue card. And then you had guys in the back in the day between, you know, them, the Hearts, you had The Rock, you have Stone Cold, you have Hulk Hogan, you have every one of these guys, and they could just off the top of their head, and they made it work. You had like the announcers in on it. You had all the cue beat guys. It was just better back then than it is nowadays. They can't cut a promo to save their lives.
Now it just seems like it's really rehearsed and like
yeah, it's too rehearsed, it's too scripted. I've seen the backstage segment where I've seen the wrestlers with the script going hand in hand. Literally, I saw Kevin Owens with one of the producers with the script in hand talking about the finish, and I'm going, I wasn't supposed to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, I really wasn't supposed to hear the finish, and here I am about to watch SmackDown Live a couple days after SummerSlam, and and I got to hear the finish before the finish happened, knowing who was showing up. I got to see who was showing up premiering on SmackDown that night as well too, because I saw them backstage. K-Fed to any single person, stuff that I was not supposed to see. And speaking of that, if anyone has seen the documentary Beyond the Mats, there is the infamous job is there as well too, but you also see Brett telling Owen, Davey, and Anvil almost like what to like say, and everyone's like calm and quiet, but the mic gets turned on. Seeing Anvil become like a totally different person on that cue was the most, in my opinion, was the most interesting thing to say, because Brett gave him his line. But I'm told that he had practiced that line so many times that when the camera turned on, bam, it was like all sails ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're talking about Wrestling with Shadows.
No, that was the documentary Beyond the Mat at the time where Chyna and Triple H were actually together in part of the storyline. They showed Mankind versus Rock. It was the I Quit match as well too.
I don't
where
Beyond the Mat. I think he was out because that came out in '99.
If it's not Beyond the Mat, then it probably is the Wrestling with Shadows.
Because in Wrestling with Shadows, he's like, Anvil, say, we're something about like we're not going to have our manners or something.
Yeah.
We're gonna have dinner, and he was like, okay. And then like you said, the light goes on, camera goes on, and bam, like they're just pew pew pew, and like you were saying, effortlessly. But now I don't know what's happened. I'm not sure.
We do have a question though. Mia says, "What's your favorite wrestling moment when you were a kid, and did you get to watch the matches as a kid?"
Yes, I went to many matches and traveled a lot with my dad. It's probably why I'm always popping my ears. It's because of the old planes traveling.
Thing, right?
Yeah. We drove a lot here to lots of the shows in Florida and Universal Studios for like WCW, WWE. We did a lot of traveling. So I went to a lot of those. My favorite wrestling moments, boy, where do I even begin? One would be probably SummerSlam '92 because I got to see that in person, and I'm lucky enough to remember that bits of it. And Canadian Stampede, which was probably the loudest show I've ever been to, and it was just a nice time for my family, for us to unite and be together, and not just as a fan to witness that, but to be my dad's daughter and to be a member of the Hart family and to all come together in the end. And it was like the one last time our family was united and happy. So nice. I'm going to go with that.
Yes. I believe Jamming Music is right. It was Wrestling with Shadows. Thank you, Jamming Music, man. At this point in time, after the European Championship, we all know what happens in 1997, which is the Montreal Screwjob.
Yep.
Not only does Brett leave the company, we also see the exit of the British Bulldog and Anvil.
Yep.
At this point in time, they make their way to WCW, and this is a super short run where WCW tried to do the whole Hart Foundation WCW style, and it was lost in the translation of the Hart Foundation the minute it showed up.
Yeah, it was just like complete chaos, like no rhyme or reason from the get-go. Like it just seemed like nobody really knew what they were doing, and like you said, like it just everybody was just kind of like lost. And you know, when my dad was in WCW, like I think I maybe watched like a couple of episodes of him, and like, but I just like my dad was on it, and I just could never like get into it.
Right.
And like,
Like
you know,
it was difficult for like because especially if you were a WCW or if you're a WWF fan at the time, you've
yeah,
seen the guys in WWE. It's like, okay, what is going on? And then look, like we saw Anvil and Bulldog, and they didn't go for any championship runs. Uncle Brett wins the U.S. title and the World Heavyweight title, and that was also lost in that little mix as well too.
like, you could tell me. I don't even have any like recollection of that. It's like, oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yes, he did.
like like all like all of a sudden there's one or two TV episodes where the Hart Foundation jackets all the Hart Foundation jackets are on, and
Mhm.
then poof, there it is. But also during their little run in WCW, we have the heartbreak that happens in the whole entire Hart family, and that is the accident heard around the world with Owen Hart. And at this point in time, your dad now quits WCW, and I'm still shocked that he did this. And maybe you can explain this to me. I don't know how many times you've explained to anyone. What made your dad return back to the WWF after that incident? Like, I want to ask you personally, but I didn't want to at the time where we were out for breakfast at one time. What made your dad want to go back?
Well, Owen was the one that said to come back.
Really?
Owen
So
said because my dad was in the hospital, and you know, my dad wasn't in good shape, and he wasn't, you know, obviously happy, and WCW royally screwed him over mentally, physically, and all capacities. My dad should have sued them because they screwed up. My dad was never the same after that accident. And you know, his mom died, his sister died, and then his mom died like within like the span of 3 months, and he's in the hospital, and he's, you know, you're looking at the hospital ceiling all day, and you're eating that food, and he's just was like, what the hell do I do? And Owen was like, well, I think you should come back. Like, you know, we can be a tag team. And he said, I'll get Vince on the phone right now, and we'll get it done. And he said, really? And he's like, yeah. So they called in the hospital room. He called. He's like, this is what we think. And Vince was like, yeah, let's do it. When Davey's good and healthy, can come back. And he's like, all right, we're going to do this. And that was the plan. And then like 2 weeks later, Owen died. But my dad was already like, he was already signed. And when the lawsuit happened and all that was going on, my dad, you know, my dad was very diplomatic, and he didn't want to choose sides or anything, but it was like, it was just so, it was just how everything went down. It was like, it just became about money and this and that. And my dad, and looking at it as in a promoter's view, it was like, this was an accident. And like, you know, this wasn't intentional. And like and my dad, you know, he was on good terms with Vince. So it's like, he wasn't going to be like, fuck you, I'm suing you now. And like, no,
right.
he was like, this was an accident. Like, I just don't want to get involved. Like, I don't want to get involved. I don't want. And he just wanted to stay out of it. And, you know, some people can say like, well, he should have sued. And it's like, well, I just don't really know what good that would have done my dad overall, what that would have done. And, you know, and then some people, you know, cut ties with my dad after that. And it was like, okay, well, that's that then. And my dad, you know, as he did, he always moved forward and proceeded and didn't look back. And he, you know, went back to WWF, and they, you know, from what I understand, they were going to give him a title run. And this was going to be like my dad's last chapter with WWF before he retired. He was going to retire in 2004, and that was going to be it. And he just wanted to make it count. So, yeah, that's what happened there. And I stand by my dad with that. So,
I mean, can you explain this one? Your dad, I guess, now having his own faction, and I was with the Mean Street Posse.
yeah,
I mean, someone explain that one, because I
don't know. I don't really know why that happened, but from what I understand,
I guess
some of
Greenwich,
them were,
Connecticut,
yeah,
Greenwich Village. I did like it was a whole. I mean, Greenwich, and there's a Greenwich in England. They were trying to do that whole thing.
yeah. I don't know, but it's funny because Pete Gasparino and my dad, like they actually became like buddies, and I still like talk to him on social media, and he tells me stories about my dad. But I don't, I don't know, as far as I'm aware of, yeah, some of them were actually Shane's like good friends, or like he went to school with or something.
Yeah, there were like three, supposedly two were Shane's buddies. They added the third one, and then Shane lost the title, and then your dad ended up getting them in like, if I remember correctly, someone can remind me of this one. Your dad won them in a match. I mean, you can't do this anymore now. Your dad won the Mean Street Posse in a match.
Yeah, yeah. I watched a clip recently that The Godfather posted, and I reposted it on my dad's page. But it was like
Oh
The
yeah,
Godfather and my dad feuding, and then like there's the Godfather's hose or whatever, and then the Mean Street Posse, and then we're dancing, and like a Godfather gets distracted or something, and Davey gets the pin. But I was like, what's going on?
right. The girls go to the Mean Street Posse, and then because they're all well dressed or whatever, because they have
Yeah,
money,
we got
so
the
they
money.
get distracted by the money. Godfather's like, hey, you're not supposed to be going on, and your dad gets the roll up pin, kind of short, kind of sweet, really funny at the time.
Yeah, yeah. It just, hey, I guess it worked.
Yeah, but I'm gonna answer Jam and Music's question and everything as well too, because he says Bulldog had a feud. Yeah, we answered this as well too, but it actually would have been sweet in 1993 for him beating Vader. But
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see during that dynamic, especially around the Sting Vader era, what would have actually happened with Bulldog if he was World Heavyweight Champion. Would he have been? Would it have been a short, quick run? Because we've seen that WCW Championship was very short-lived. This is before Big Gold came into the picture. So, my opinion, it would have been really sweet to have Davey Boy, British Bulldog, win the World Heavyweight title. I don't know how sweet it would have been. Do you want to comment on that one?
I have no idea if it would have been short or long, and same goes with WWE or F. Or if he had been there, would it have been a short run or not? I have no idea. But one thing I can say is for sure is in both companies, he should have gotten it.
Yeah, it would have been nice. I mean, I still say to people that like if it wasn't going to go to Owen, Bulldog should have had it, and he would have had a nice little retirement. And at this point in time, your dad's knees are just slowly going at this rate, right?
Yeah, his knees were one thing, but his back, that was the main problem there. His back. But when you see him wrestle, in the late 90s and 2000, like how he's moving, and you keep in mind, like a year, or if not a little over a year, he was in the hospital with all of that. And you see how he's moving and how he's got so much motion. It's like you wouldn't have even thought he had any injuries, but he did. But that his back was the main issue there, obviously from previous injuries, and then the WCW thing that was like literally the straw that broke the camel's back. But yeah, it's crazy too because I think if he had retired, he would have still like tried to just keep wrestling. 100%, he would have just tried because that was all he loved.
I could see him going back into Stampede Wrestling, getting all the title belts it did, or probably at the time was Ohio Valley, not Ohio, then Florida Championship Wrestling at the time. I believe your dad at some point had moved you guys to Florida. Yeah. Right? Where'd you guys move from? You guys moved from Canada to Florida during the mid-90s?
Early 90s, we moved from Canada, like I think it was 91, we moved from Calgary to Tampa. And then 1996, we returned to Canada, and that's when, the Heart Foundation and everything began, or all that happened. And then we returned, Harry and I moved back to Tampa in 2008. And I lived in England for 5 years. So, yeah, it's bing, 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 yeah.
And one more time, right before the 2000 run, your dad gets one more run with the European Championship, and apparently during this time, there's a story that went around that British Bulldog was not too happy that the fact that Eddie Guerrero at the time was the European champion, and Eddie Guerrero was not treating this championship with the respect that it deserves.
Oh, I do. Was that when China and him were doing the Twister?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That was my dad's last televised match, by the way. If you
I
didn't
mean,
know. But yeah.
it's kind of sad that like the last time we see it is with the late great Eddie Guerrero, with that whole little love story triangle thing going on, and the European title. As much as I mean, look, this has been a staple. I mean, this is one of my favorite titles. This is probably something you loved seeing around the house.
Yep.
How many times you picked this belt up and like carried it around or tried to put it around your waist?
I picked it up a few times, but it was really heavy for a 10-year-old.
Still heavy.
Oh yeah.
This thing, this one in particular is still heavy.
Yeah. But yeah, I was lucky enough to see that and then when I saw it with you, and then I was a liar with it.
That is a whole nother story we'll get into. I mean, we could talk about it as well too, but and then that I mean, your dad had a good solid run, and you remembering some of the stories and the histories about it is still something, because that's within you. Seeing the matches, being part of SummerSlam, being part of the weird WCW errors. Being back in being back in WWF, now you get to have one more cherished memory, and that is hopefully next year at WrestleMania.
Fingers closed, eyes crossed. Yeah.
Hopefully, 2000. Let's say 2021, we will finally see the induction of the Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, in the WWE Hall of Fame. It is long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope it's going to happen in one way or another. Whether I don't know if they're going to do a virtual thing, or I don't know, but
hey, I hope it's not virtual, because the fans hearing those fans real fans cheering. I don't want to hear the fake crowd anymore. I'm getting tired of watching the fake crowdness. But I want to hear real fans cheering on. I'm going to say it's about time. I would chant it's about time.
No, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how. But this next year's got to be a whole lot better than this year, right?
Yeah.
Overall.
Yes, overall. We're going to stay positive as much as we can.
Here, right?
Yeah. I mean, mine's worse. He lives in Rhode Island. It's semi-worse. I mean, you guys in Florida, you guys are wide open for business. I may take the trip to Florida. I mean, all of my friends in the music industry, all of my friends that are DJs have all come down to Florida to throw Florida parties. And me and a few of the guys, we still haven't gone down to Florida yet. So,
well, you gotta, that's. I mean, I'm all I gotta say is I'm happy I'm in Florida right now.
Right. Well, my birthday.
I agree, J-Bo.
Yeah, my birthday's in February. It's around the corner. I may have to take the flight down to Florida for at least a week or two.
Yay!
I'll get to those in a second, but you also have another announcement as well too. Recently at Sunday's pay-per-view, they showed a little trailer of WWE icons, and one of the stories that they will be telling is one of the British Bulldog. Tell us a little bit about the icons of wrestling.
So coincidentally, I got the call about the icons when I was with you guys at Hassle Toys, if you recall. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. So that's when I was.
Yeah, it was right at that moment. You're like, they told us something was hush hush, but they're gonna start filming with the second we go back. That's all you told us.
Yes. So when we were there, my mom was saying Kieran, who recorded Heart and Soul, if you saw that with my family, that they were trying to get a hold of us because they wanted to do a thing on Davey and talk about Harry being, Davey Boy Smith Jr. and my dad's social media and how that's taken off. And I remember hearing that with you guys, and I think I had some celebratory, because I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. And it was something that I've been wanting for years to happen. And
yes.
Got the call. And then they filmed. We went over it in October, the itinerary, and then they came first week of November, and it was just like back-to-back filming. And, you'll see myself telling stories and memories of my dad. You'll hear Harry. They're gonna.
Your mom came. Your mom flew in at the time as well too.
Yeah, my mom flew down, as you guys saw in the clip. She's in there, and I'm hoping that they're gonna get like Lennox Lewis in there. I've connected them, so I'm hoping like he'll speak. I'm hoping to get my dad's dad, my granddad, my dad's some of his family over there because you don't really see much of them. So
besides the photos that you post, we don't even see anything about the about your dad's side of the family in England.
No, I try to post some things, if it's a birthday, if it's a special, something. I try to post as much as I can, but yeah. So the only footage I think that they've got of my granddad was at the UK Rampage '91. And
Is that your brother, the dog, or is that the Roomba? Is that the Roomba?
And yeah, so that's the only thing that you see of him. So I'm hoping that they'll interview him, but it's going to be an hour episode. It begins January 31st, and the first episode, if I recall, is Yokozuna. And then I think my dad's episode is going to be one of the last episodes. So yeah, you'll see. I tried to give it my all, and I tried to.
One more time, can you say when your dad's episode may be happening?
No, I don't know because they're still filming it as well.
Oh, so it may be happening, but we do know it's going to be happening right after the Royal Rumble. The Yokozuna episode will be first, and then somewhere down the line they'll tell us when the.
It'll probably be like Yoko, Beth, Rob Van Dam, or maybe Lex. I don't know what their order will be, but with my dad's, because they wanted to capture his memorabilia as well that I've got that you saw.
Yes, the infamous check.
So they got to do that.
See, I kind of wish, because I've been to like 2 WWE Access ones, and it'll just be amazing just to see like in like full on display your dad's SummerSlam cape that he had on. That would be so cool just to see it on display.
I mean, I don't have that cape, but I've got his WrestleMania 7 with Warlord, that cape.
Right, but no one will know because the fact that it's nostalgic. The fact that your dad came out with a cape is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just to see some of the stuff.
At Access, WrestleMania Access, so this one that was supposed to happen, I was there. I was going to have a section and display it, but obviously that didn't happen. And WWE wanted to capture me, like going to like a Hassle Toys or going to a convention and showing it, but obviously I can't. There's no events or anything going on. So
there is. I'll send you some info on that one very shortly.
Oh, okay. Well, I also gave them, and everybody is just very cautious right now, but I gave them the idea because they're at Tropicana Field now, right?
Yes.
Tampa. So I was like, how about Tropicana Field? It's huge. It's massive. I was like, how about I go in a room and display everything, and wrestlers can come in and take a look at it and get their reactions.
Or be like, I remember this. I remember this moment. I remember that moment.
Exactly. And like Drew McIntyre actually saw my dad wrestle live in Kilmarnock. I was there for that show, but one of the outfits I've gotten there is from that show. So I was like, that'd be so cool if like we could get their reactions, seeing as how I can't go anywhere with it, and it's not far for me. And they're like, well, we'll talk and see if we can actually do that. But
right, just like me holding this exact belt that has a story, seeing those memorabilia or seeing those outfits, especially with the current superstars. Because when you have Drew McIntyre, you have guys like Finn Balor. These are the guys that looked up to your father, especially being in being from England, Scotland, Ireland. Your dad is the man to them.
I know. I was like, if like Sheamus and Wade Barrett can see it, I was like, I just think that would be really. I don't know. And like Daniel Bryan is a fan of my dad's, and I just thought like the new wrestlers, and maybe if there's like Michael Hayes there, I don't know, but if I could do that, that would be good. So they're still filming it, but it's you'll see, obviously the fans have seen some things of my dad on social media, like family pictures and things, but I hope this tells the story, our story of Davey, and then the guy, the dad I had, and the man I knew, and all that. So I'm really happy.
If you guys don't already know, that's Georgia's Instagram. That is the British Bulldog Instagram. Go if you're not following her right now, go and follow it. you post a good 3 to 5 times a day, easily. If not that, your stories are a good 24 hours long between from finding some memorabilia. Fans have always, I
It's
mean,
never ending.
you right, it's never ending. You completely appreciate the fans that if they end up with a British Bulldog merchandise to a T-shirt, anything with a British Bulldog, anything on it, even a picture of a Bulldog, even though it's not Matilda or Winston, you have no problem posting them because it reminds them of the British Bulldog.
Yeah. Any support, it's just crazy. Like somebody said to me, they're like, family pictures, you might run out of those, but when it comes to fans, pictures, artwork, Bulldogs, content, it's never ending. And that's what this whole icons thing is about. Is my dad was an icon, he's a legend, and that doesn't die. And I've got, I kid you not, I've got thousands of pictures on my phone and content and videos that people I haven't even shown yet.
And fans just sending you home videos of matches they've been to, and them taking you like screenshot video. The fact that they're taking out the VHS is the fact that they have a VHS player just to find something that they filmed with a camcorder, or it could be a time where your mom and your dad walked around Disney World.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think you shared a moment where like you and your brother, your mom and your dad, your first time going to Disney World. Yep. You shared that moment as well too. Tell me about that moment real quick. Is that your first time at Disney World, or is that the first time you guys moved to Florida and you guys end up going to Disney World?
That was the first time we went to Disney World. I think I remember like bits on that trip. I think I remember being on the teacup ride with my dad, and my dad was so strong that like we were like,
you're flying off the teacup and you're getting sick.
Yeah, like literally. And I remember one of the times I was at Disney World, Mickey Mouse went up to my dad, the guy that, with the whole Mickey Mouse outfit and with his notepad and pen, asking my dad for an autograph. And I think that's when it clicked to me that I was like, oh, wow. My dad, Mickey Mouse wants Davey's autograph. Wowee. That's pretty cool.
But I think at that point in time, didn't Disney have a deal, or Disney was there introducing WCW and Hogan? Was that the whole faction?
That was Universal Studios, like a little bit later. Yeah.
That's 93. So did you have another Mickey Mouse moment with Mickey and everything?
Yeah, but they didn't really care about me. They just wanted my dad. So I mean, I liked seeing them, but they were like, okay, no, him. Like they'd like line up, like the Chipmunks and Mickey and Aladdin. They would all, they wanted the pictures with my dad.
That's kind of funny because we pay a ton of money to get a picture with them, and meanwhile you have the characters going to Davey Boy Smith. It's free promo, but it's like, you guys want to throw you guys want to throw us like a free year of pictures real quick?
Yeah, exactly. So that was, but from a young age, my dad, like, it didn't matter where we were, or he would just get swarmed with people, or he'd get stopped. So it was just kind of like the everyday norm for me.
Well, we didn't get to talk about the toys, so we'll get to the toys real quick. So we talked about the LGN toys and everything, and somehow in the 90s, everyone's favorite action figures, one of my favorites, the beginning of Hasbro action figures. Your favorite? One of your faves? Get close over there.
He's a bit. My dad might need to
work
more. It's a bit.
Right. The springs broken.
I've got another one that's the springs are working better. This was the first one I grabbed though. But
packaging on it or no?
What's that?
You still have one in the original packaging?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep. I don't know where. I think it's in a box that I've got here, but I've got two that are out of the box, and I've got one that's in German writing on the box as well. And
hey, take it any which way. Take it any which way. German, French. The fact that you still have one in the original box is better than not having one in the box.
Exactly. This was so for Harry. This would probably be Harry's earliest wrestling toy that he had or would remember, and for me, this would be my first.
Nice. You were saying something, Bergie?
I was going to say some of the ones that you have for different countries are a little more rarer too.
Yes,
you have a German one. Some of the ones there, because they didn't make a lot of them in those individual countries, they are a little bit harder to come by and a little more rarer. So having a German one or a different one in a different, language, that's a unique piece to have for the collection. That's definitely something.
Actually, we are, because there's actually one toy on the list that was only released in the UK.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a second. Later, I mean, look, someone can explain these whole Bendoms.
I don't have it with me, but I've got it
Right.
somewhere.
Was it me, or they kind of just messed up on the mold and they just used Uncle Brett's head and hair?
I don't think they did, because I think the doll, he's got the thing here. My dad had like a dimple in his chin, if I recall.
I mean, look at that.
Line. Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, and he's got the cheeks. Yeah, so, but maybe they used Brett's or Michael Jackson's hair there. I'm not sure.
That definitely looks more like Brett's hair than your dad's did.
Yeah,
it didn't have the cornrows and the beads on it.
They need to make a new one like that of my dad, like with his hair, like how my hair is, and like how the box, how my dad looks. They need to make like this of that. But I don't know how complicated it is with his hair with that situation.
Well, we'll get to those action figures in a second, and I believe a quick phone call to Mattel wouldn't hurt either via WWE. Then we had the Jack specific action figures. We had the first release in 1997, I believe, from the Series 3 collection. I know you have this one, or you have the second edition.
I've got that one. It's in a box, I think. My room right now, because we've been doing filming. It's like British Bulldog Museum explosion in there right now. So
I'm surprised you didn't take your brother's room, because he's barely home anyway, and turn it into a mini museum.
Oh God!
Yes, Harry, I'm talking smack about you, because he is in the background, right?
Yeah,
Someone jump in
the fridge.
Someone come in. We'll talk smack about him real quick. Turn his room into a museum. The fact that he's never there anyway. Yeah,
I want a Bulldog room.
You want a Bulldog
room?
Oh.
No, I do want a Bulldog, but I want a room that's just because when I was at The Rock's mom's house, she's got a room called the SmackDown room, and from the ceiling everywhere, it's all his stuff. So I was like, I need a Bulldog room, which is dolls, his clock. Look at this that I've got here. Let me show you this.
The clock? I didn't even know there's a clock.
I don't have a clock with me, but.
Oh, right, the tray.
Oh, that is so
wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sorry. There we go.
There he is with Undertaker, Macho Man, and Hulk Hogan.
Yep. So I want to put that in there. I want to put all of his dolls.
Looks like 1990, 1991 edition.
Yep.
It's in really good condition. That's awesome looking.
Thank you. Yeah, I gave it a little clean.
That could be a hunt for the lunch boxes that they released. There was the teddy bear
tag on it.
Yeah, we gotta find the teddy bear. Was there a teddy bear? We gotta find some of the old WWF magazines, and hopefully some of the retail stores still have them as well too, because there was like the T-shirts. Those T-shirts are still kind of hard to find, and you got to go to every single thrift shop just to find one. The shirts too?
Yeah, I've got them hanging up. I've got a whole rack of my dad's stuff hanging up. I've got WWE shirts, all of them that they've made. I've got WCW shirts. I've got all the shirts I've made. I've got it all. Yeah.
Well, speaking of some of the merch, and especially the vest, then they released the so-called Heart Foundation version of the British Bulldog.
My dad looks a little cold there. His lips. He looks like he's
compared to the previous one. It's the same face. It's just changing the colors.
They just put a vest on him, I think, and they gave him some multicolored armbands.
Right. If I'm mistaken, this is the European title trunks, supposedly.
Yeah, right.
But a blank vest, and I don't know if some of them. If I do recall, some of them do say Heart Foundation in the back, and some of them don't say Heart Foundation. So what was really difficult is you actually have to open these to figure out what they had written on the back.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that one have it? But I've got one that's like that, and it's packaged with the vest on it, but I haven't opened it, so I'm not sure.
Don't open it, because you'll never know.
I know.
And darn it! And I wish they would indicate it. Then I don't know. This looks like something that should have been for the WCW line, but yet it ended up in WWF, which is the 2-pack with the British Bulldog and Sid Vicious. Yet again, the same old generic picture. I mean, action figure that we saw on the first line.
Yeah, I don't have that one. That one, if anybody knows where to get it, or they have an extra, let me know. Yeah, but it's crazy because my dad was darker than Sid, as you can see, but then my dad is very pale.
He looks like Sheamus except for the red hair.
Yeah, my dad looks like me right now, but
They didn't do a good job on that one for a tanning.
no, they kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Later down the line, there's no new real action figures till later in after your dad's career. It was like 2000 when they started doing the Superstar series. We get the reintroduction of sort of the 92 edition SummerSlam of the British Bulldog and the Intercontinental title. What are you saying, Mike?
Yes, I would say that. I've got that one as well. I don't have that. The ones that I've got, they all have the red and blue tights. So, but yeah, I've got that one too.
Oh, he's totally breaking dishes in the background. Yeah, as Ralph says, never open it.
Yeah, never open these.
Seeing some of these toys, did you get them previously, or did you start collecting just like the same 2-3 years ago when you started campaigning?
I've collected these since for years and years and years. Obviously, the ones that I've opened, yeah, I was a kid and opened them. So, but
got Dad. I found Dad. There we go.
But anytime I see a doll of my dad, like that's been since I can remember, I've always bought it. It's like the German one I found at a flea market. I bought it.
well, here's the thing. Like now you're seeing this one. This was dated in like 2005 and everything, and I believe this was a few years after Dad's passing.
Mm-hmm.
What was your emotion at the time seeing the figures come out? Like what were your feelings every time you saw your dad's toy on the shelf of a toy store?
I was just really happy that he was back out there because there hadn't been they were making a doll of him in the jeans. They had made a prototype, but it never came out. So fast forward, seeing that doll, for instance, it was really cool to see. So I was happy to see it, and I bought a bunch.
And especially this one, and yeah. I believe this is the UK edition of the worst title ever, the Best of British. Well, yeah, we'll show your version.
At Woolworths in London, I saw it, and I was like, oh my God. And I took it home, or took it to my granddad's, and he was like, oh, Piggy and Ellie's never looked like that in his life. I don't know, I just bought it because my dad was on it.
Can we see the back of it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You don't see stuff like that anymore. They don't do these.
But this is Jax, like towards the tail end, sort of like end of the line for Jax and them going into Mattel later. But to me, I felt like those series, classic series, is by far one of my favorites of Jax because they made all like the memorable moments.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I don't know how Georgia feels about those moments, but
I mean, we'll just say I'll never open that box.
What about this? I know. Are you going to be in the hunt for this one? I believe. I mean, we should have your brother come in this moment. So this one is the only one, limited edition. It's Jake the Snake Roberts with the British Bulldog, Coco Beware. What's also interesting, they are the only three with their, I guess, pets that they brought to the ring. Jake the Snake having his snake, British Bulldog at this point in time having Winston, and then Coco Beware having his parrot. And you said Harry has this?
Yeah, Harry's got that one. He got it from WWE headquarters.
Nice. He stole it from WWE headquarters, or just happened to have it when he was?
They had just made it and they showed it to Harry. They're like, "This is what we got," and they're like, "You can have it." So he took it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, the Titan Towers, where that was 2007, I think it was. Yeah,
that's 2007.
He showed it to me, and I was like, "Whoa!" And we had a bulldog named Joanna who had a brown spot on her back like that, and I was like, "Look, it's like Joanna." But yeah, but he's got that. It's still in the box.
Nice. Then next we have is your dad's European title edition.
That's
I like the fact that you're holding it's pretty cool. She is holding the Superstars edition of her dad winning the European title. I believe this was released in also 2007, maybe a little later for 2008.
This one, I think 2008 or 2009.
Right.
2008.
So pretty cool. I mean, at this point in time, they added more abs to him.
Yeah, and they
added more ab work.
Sorry if you can see the belt. Like the belt,
yes, that
red.
And you know what's the nice thing is you see the way they've improved on the overall articulation, the character, you know, the molds on them, even all the way down to the belts, even to the like, you know, his boots and stuff like that. There's so much more.
Tackles. That's a very good.
Impressive what they were able to accomplish from, you know, the bendy guy that we got back in the early, you know, 90s, late 80s.
The hard rubber that you can also throw across the room and peg someone in the head and knock him out unconscious.
Oh, how many times do you ever throw one of those at your little brother or a sibling or something like that and pummel him, then you get yelled at by mom and dad because you beat your brother with, like, you know, one of those?
To be honest, as I said, I keep saying I'm going to go to my parents' storage in their basement and just go find all the old G.I. Joes and He-Mans and Ninja Turtles that I have and just go through them. But I know the WWF figures, the Hasbro ones, are sitting somewhere in my brother's room. So I don't know if he's watching right now, but we're definitely going to be going through them during Christmas time. You know, have a match or two.
There's a little badge on here I just noticed, and it says 50% more articulation.
Ooh.
The only qualm I have with this doll, this figure, is they've made my dad's eyes blue, which is not correct. But otherwise, like they did a really, that's really good doll.
Now, is his eyes blue on the figure, or is his eyes blue on the the picture on the
figure?
On the figure, but on the box, are they the normal color?
I can't tell on the box because it gets that color.
Gotcha. Okay, because that could be something that could have been like a typo or like a rarity.
I think they all had blue.
They made this one's eyes blue too.
Right.
And they made this one's eyes blue too. I don't know what they were thinking.
But next we're about the botch job one that they did as well too, which is they released him finally with Dynamite Kid and another box series. But they added him with the cornrows, and your dad didn't have cornrows.
That's what I was saying to you. I was like, they just did a lazy job. I don't think I even bought that. I was like, this is not accurate.
That's not my dad.
No.
And it was their basic 2-pack. Of course, this one comes with Matilda and with the tag team with the WWE actually tag team titles.
Yep.
Time.
And they made Matilda just like Winston.
I think at this point in time, they just.
I think they slapped that together, and when I saw it with the braids, I was like, "No, come on."
Maybe they figured that was the way most people would remember him is because of the braids and that stuff. And they just slapped it together. Money marketing, you know, they wanted to sell a toy.
But later they went back to doing the individual packs, and they re-released the Davey Boy Smith one. But this is a 2-pack, sort of like a 2-pack. You had to go hunting for Dynamite Kid.
I got this one at the Toys R Us in Times Square in 2010. I got it when I was in New York for my birthday, and I saw the Dynamite. There was Davey and Dynamite, and weirdly, they had Harry's one there as well, with the Hart Dynasty. But I saw Davey and Dynamite, but of course, I got this one.
Okay. So you go to Times Square, you're picking up your dad's toy, but not only do you see your dad's toy, you also see Harry's toy next to Dad. What was that feeling like seeing your brother's first toy?
I thought it was really cool because when you first walked into that Toys R Us, this is what you see. What you saw. That's what you saw.
Really? Not the giant Ferris wheel that we have? You didn't see our giant Ferris wheel that still was in the middle of it?
When you go in, no, sorry. It's not when you walk in. When you go upstairs. You go upstairs and there's the WWE section.
Yeah.
Right when you walk into that WWE section, that's what you see there, what I saw. And I was like, this must be a sign because it was on my birthday. So. And
I remember that Toys R Us many times, and she's right. When you went to the upstairs, at one time the upstairs was the boys section and later got moved to the downstairs, which became the boys section. The upstairs was completely about action figures. Not only did they have a huge WWE section, they also had a small WCW at the time, and also they had a huge Marvel section.
That's right. I remember the Marvel section.
Legos and the start of the T-Rex. They were trying to build a T-Rex, then had it upstairs.
And every time I went to New York Comic Con, we always hit the Toys R Us there. On our way out, we'd hit there and then go home. Always a nice place. Love that place.
It was really cool. I was like, wow. I saw that. This means a lot to me. And you see its boots. The detail on the boots is really good too.
Yeah. Someone said they missed the Ferris wheel. I missed it. Yeah. Behind that T-Rex. Attention. What was it in French? It was in French?
This says attention, risque, les petites pieces.
Yes, the English to French.
And what does this say? 50% more accuracy as well. And this one, it's in very good condition, as you can see. So that's.
I will be. Someone says there's an actual Toys R Us in Garden State Mall. I will be at that Toys R Us somewhere down the line in Jersey because I'm waiting for this one to come from Rhode Island to come to New York, so we can go take a drive to Jersey to take a pit stop at that Toys R Us. And yes, it is one of the only Toys R Us listed. If you go to toysrus.com, they actually have a start of their flagship stores sort of coming back, but only in malls.
Oh boy,
good. We need a Toys R Us.
I love Georgia. I love that toy has a memory for you of you going into Toys R Us. That feeling you had of seeing your dad's figure, seeing your uncle's figure, which is Dynamite Kid, and also seeing seeing your brother's figure all at the same time is one of those like a really feel good memory.
It was. I wasn't there but a few days before that, there was a show at Madison Square Garden where I think Harry and TJ, there was a tag team match and they main evented it. It was on a Raw or something, or a Friday. I can't remember, but yeah, it was that. And then right after that, it was my birthday, and I came and I was like, man, I wish I had come a few days earlier to seen that live. And Toys R Us, you see Harry's toy, you see my dad's toy side by side, and I was like, that's really cool. And I'd never been in that Toys R Us before. It was the first time.
Oh, and then the last time too.
Oh, yeah, that's sad.
I know, very sad. Then we also get another re-release of Davey Boy Smith, and that is with him rocking the British Bulldogs t-shirts.
Yep. This one, as you can see, it's got a protective box around it. And,
that's what you need for all your toys. You need that for all of them.
I should. And this is what the back of it looks like with all the different other legends. Don't know if I'm doing that right. Oh, I'm moving it away. There we go.
That's so awesome.
Got RVD in there. You got Trish Stratus. You got
both. Is that the
both.
Killer Bees?
Yep,
Rey
Killer
Mysterio.
Bees.
Oh,
Wow.
They got Rob Van Dam in there. That's funny. He's in the icons.
Yep, Rob Van Dam.
But that Rob Van Dam he's like the LJNs where he's the hard rubber.
Oh yeah, he is. I didn't even realize that till now.
Yeah, at one point, Jack Pacific was going old school and doing their version of the LJNs.
So there you go. Got that.
So was that a store bought at the time, or did you find a collector, or was that gifted to you?
I think I bought this. Somewhere in Tampa. I think I bought it at like a Target.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you like walking, like if you saw like a comic book store like randomly, would you like make like a detour and be like, I want to go in there just see what they have? Do you just randomly go to stores?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Do you ever see do you have any of the video games?
I don't here, but when I was in England, I bought all like the PlayStation ones for WWE. But I don't have any.
Warzone had your dad, right? Was it Warzone, the Attitude one? They all had your dad in them.
Mercy.
No Mercy. Yes, the No Mercy one where they brought him back in. So it's the only one with him in jeans as a
like light jeans, dark jeans, black jeans. Yeah.
Did you change your dad's colors? Did you change your dad's jeans?
Yep.
What color did you put him in? Did you put him in leopard print for fun?
I put him in like random, like I think I put him in like stupid outfits and be like, look what I did.
Would you put him in I know currently in wrestling video games right now, granted your dad isn't in the current 2K20 game, but hopefully he will probably be in either he's definitely going to be in 2K21. Would you change his outfit, or would you build him right now as a current character and like change his outfit right now, like give him new colors? Would you?
That's a very good question. Yeah, I might. I might put him in the jeans.
I put him in the jeans.
Yeah.
But besides the red, white, and blue, especially going with the Union Jack colors, would you have given him any other colors? Would you have wanted your dad right now to like change the colors of his attire color?
Nope. Because his favorite color was red, and he looked I think really good in red. That was like the dominant color for him, and obviously white and blue. White looks good with his tan. So yeah, I think those were the best. Because imagine him in like Macho Man's outfit, just wouldn't work.
No, that would definitely not work.
Look, if any single one of you video game designers do one just for fun, do one of Davey Boy Smith in the Macho Man outfit, or Hulk Hogan doing the Macho Man.
Oh God!
Going down. Yeah, could you imagine? He does Hulk Hogan, and he's walking down the aisle.
Or imagine putting him in like the Undertaker's outfit.
I could see your dad rocking something like that, because when he did the hardcore matches and stuff like that, coming out in like a black outfit or something like that, being that hardcore, I could see that.
I could see
rock it.
I'm surprised your dad didn't wear the leotard like the Hearts did, including Anvil did, because your dad started wearing the one-piece leotard at one point. I'm surprised he didn't wear a Hart Foundation leotard, just because. I know it was great for him to always look different, but I would have expected at one point for him to just wear it once.
Like Brett's singlet type of thing, like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I can't even like picture that.
Dad, there's a photo of your dad wearing a red one.
A red one. Oh, I think that was like I think he used to work out and something like that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And you just made me think. I couldn't picture my dad in pink.
No, with pink shorts. I mean, he did rock. I mean, he did have to wear the white with the pink in the back. Was the only time he did wear it. But yeah, I can't see your dad in the pink trunks. That'd be pretty interesting. As a fan favorite, could we see? Maybe that's a new toy line. You pick your dad as of what if your dad wore the pink and black, or the black and pink tights of the family. Yeah, you can't see that. It'd be pretty interesting though.
She's like, nah.
I don't feel it either.
Picturing it, and I'm picturing one of these figures and that, and I'm like, he just would look like.
He looked like Anvil, just minus all the hair.
Look like Steve Blackman or something, or like Taz, or I don't know. It just wouldn't. I don't know. I'm like head scratcher. Yeah, we'll stick with the bit.
We'll stick with the bit. Yeah, stick with the Hasbro pants, shorts. It worked anyway. We also see now the release of the Mattel line, one of the first through at the time Matty Collector, where they were starting their WWE Legends series. This was actually one of my favorites.
This is one of my favorites too. I can't remember where I bought this. I don't remember.
At this point in time, Kmart had some of the exclusive for these, and if you weren't able to buy them on Mattel's website, you had to go through Kmart, and then after Kmart, it was Walmart through the Walmart line.
Okay, I probably bought it at Walmart. Yeah, this is one of my favorites too. And on the back of this, as you guys can maybe see, he's got the Hart Foundation.
Oh, in the back of the tight, in the back of it. I never knew that.
Yeah, so there you go.
Nice. A bit of both. You got the European title front trunks to the Hart Foundation back. So it's got a mix. Actually, that's a mix and match.
And he's got on here as well, which I didn't really notice before, behind him a little platform for him to stand on to present himself.
Mike and I are always talking about how Mattel has always been the smart company, and then some of the other companies where they gave you a stand for your action figures. Some of your 2-packs had them as well too. They gave you a stand for them because they were paying butt to have on their own 2 feet.
Now, do they say? You were just made me thinking what year this came out, because on here it doesn't say the date.
Should be 2015.
It usually is at the bottom wherever they show like where it was made or something. It usually has the date around that time.
Where it has the copyright infringement, the fine print. Wherever you find the super fine print, they usually have the year on them. It should be in the very bottom.
What about on the bottom?
Under it. Look under.
Oh. 2010.
2010.
Wow.
Sorry, 2010.
Yeah.
It was a good start. I mean, they at the time, Matty Collector that was doing their toys, literally made exclusives. They made the Art Anderson an exclusive for their toy line. Um, Next, we have one of the Elite figures. It's from the 2015 Elite 39 series, and this is the British Bulldog. Yet again, uh, this is a nice re-release back again for the '92 SummerSlam. It's got the dreads. It's got the beads at the end. He's got his cape and all.
I've got that one. I bought that, I think, at Smith's Toy Store in England, but I don't have it. I think it's in Canada. But yeah, that one that one's hard to find with the cape like that. But
It's interesting.
If you guys
what
know, that's Harry's face.
I was gonna say that's Harry's face.
Harry. So as you saw with all these other dolls, they were like custom or whatever they did, and then once they got to this one, I think they used Harry's Heart Dynasty, but that's Harry's face.
That's Harry. At this point in time, yeah, Harry is no longer in WWE, and the moles or the scan that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, look, like father, like son. We'll get to one in particular that caught my attention, and you've noticed it as well too. But we'll get to that one. But the next couple scans, it's Harry all the way. I'm laughing because even the next one, even the basic figure that came out in 2016, yet again another Summer. I don't know why they claim this as a SummerSlam edition, which was
not. This one would be. He wore this UK Rampage in '91. If this is because he had this lace look or that rope look. That look you'll see when he's wrestling IRS. What's his name? The
$1 million man.
The burglar. What's his name?
Oh, right. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Oh, I know who you're talking about too, and I cannot think of his name for the life of me.
I know.
Yes, he wore gray. He wore the
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can't think of his name. Damn it.
We wrestled him with this as well. So that's
but it wasn't SummerSlam. It was what show? What event was it?
This one. It was. This was not SummerSlam. It was some like Rampage, like UK stuff that he did back in '91. It was that tour, and I think he wore it on like some Superstar episodes. But the guy who made this gear and his SummerSlam gear and all of his infamous gear when he had the braids, his name is Michael Braun, and he lives in Tampa, and he made Macho Man's gear too, and Ultimate Warriors, I think. But he came up with all these concepts.
Make a Superstar noise, like body slam.
Yeah, exactly. My dad looks like he's on a low carb diet.
Right? He didn't have abs like that, but darn, that diet looks really good. I want to know, is that the keto diet? Is that tea diet? Can we figure out what diet?
He's a bit deprived. Davey looks like he eats a burger there.
He looks too skinny, but he looks like that water weight is gone.
That water weight, he's getting ready for the pros here. Yeah.
And last but not least, we have the Target exclusive figure, and that is the 2020 Elite 82 British Bulldog.
You just made me think. This one is the doll. That's this one. You just made me put it together. This one's the one with him and Jake the Snake and Coco Beware. This is the one that's with it. That's out of the box.
That's the figure that's with it? Okay.
That's the figure. I just realized. Harry's got one that's in the box, but this one's out of the box. I think I got this one from Hassel Toys when I was there.
Okay. Hastel
Toys.
Hastel does have a signed Davy Boy Smith by Harry.
Yep.
Signed the box right there. And I believe Hastel Toys still has their autograph line of you and Harry when you guys were at Hastel Toys earlier this year.
Yes, this one I actually got when I was in New York and was at the convention, and that's the one I got.
Nice.
Hastel Toys, and I got Harry to sign it. It says "To Georgia, your loving brother" here. But I paid about.
I heard him. Son of a gun.
And it comes with a little weight belt. So this one's rare to find as well.
Yeah, I
And
think there was a difference, right? They re-released the same figure, but one had dumbbells and one of them had
yeah,
that barbell.
this one, and he's got the blue and Union Jack, and then the other one, it's just Harry with red trunks. That one
Well,
is in his room. That one, I think. And this one, I've got one out of the box.
oh, nice, the Fury.
So,
Oh, awesome.
yeah.
Was that the one you grabbed from Hastel?
No, this one I got. Oh God, I got this one about 10 years ago.
I want real
From,
quick for everyone.
I think I got this from Target.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and
I
this,
like the fact that you have a few out of the box.
yeah. My dad, he was not on the keto diet here. He pulled out a bit.
He's on the beer and cheeseburger diet.
He's on that spaghetti. But his feet, I just didn't even realize they spin.
Nice. What was your dad's favorite food? Like, what was his go-to dish? Like, if he came home, what was the dish your mom had made for him in the house?
To be honest, he really liked pizza. He really loved pizza. He loved like cheese. He loved like cheese sticks, like mozzarella sticks. He loved sushi.
Oh, you know who likes mozzarella sticks? That'd be your brother. I love that too.
We all
You know,
do.
besides
We
your
all do.
brother and everything.
Yeah, my dad was a big cheese connoisseur. Sushi. He loved steaks. Those were his top ones for sure.
Nice. And as I said, last but not least, the current Target exclusive. This
That-
one,
They didn't scan Harry's face that time.
no, but you know what I find very interesting? It reminds me of someone when I first saw it. That's you.
That is me.
That is 100% you. I don't know what anyone will say. That's you. Because wonder why? The cheeks.
I think when we were together, we put that together. I was like, oh my God, this is my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they just released this new one. It comes out. We saw the prototype. Oh, I showed you a picture of the first image that they had. It was a prototype. And it was just like the one image. And now everyone's gonna go on a super hunt. If anyone's in the Toys R Us in Canada, they're now stocked on the shelves. But currently in the US, they're gonna be stocking up that Target shelf not pretty soon. I would say right after Christmas. If it's not today, definitely right after Christmas. I mean him and I have been saying it for the past couple of weeks that we need to get our hands on one, and if I can get my hands on one, someone be kind enough to get me one just because I need to have one in my collection.
Everybody that I've talked to, they're like, it's sold out, can't get it. So if you guys get
it's never sold out, because guess what? This show is all about finding that one place that has it at a retail price. And I was just telling him a few weeks ago privately that there was another store that had all like these crazy Star Wars figures, and they had jacked them up from the original $20 to $25 price to almost $40 to $100. And there's a few comic book stores, a few toy stores that still have them at generic retail.
Wow.
And I thank them profusely for being that kind and generous, especially during these times where no one can play an arm and a leg for an action figure that comes out of retail. And if you're in the business, we know how much you pay for those toys immediately. So they should be at retail the first time. If you're down to the last figure, I can understand putting it for $40 because it's a hot item. But
well, that one I can't. Hello, Mike. I cannot wait to get that one. It's just the chain, the detailing. Matilda looks, as we saw with the other dogs, it's a bit of a hit and miss. But that one, it's incredible. And like you said, whatever they did with his face, I don't know if they somehow scanned my face or what they did, but that's
maybe
collector's
maybe it was all the behind the scenes footage you had during Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that, like, I didn't know this as well too, that you were also doing color commentary for a short while when you started getting into this business, and you caught my attention on you doing color commentary. But was it with Ring of Honor, and was it with another company?
Major League Wrestling.
Okay, Major League Wrestling.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't. And I remember the guy. His name's Mike something, who makes the figures. And I saw him in Las Vegas at a convention, and I was like, "So, is there any British Bulldog ones coming out?" And he was like, very like well, it's going to be like a tag team one. Because I was like, he's in the Hall of Fame now. Like, what's the plan? And he was like, it's going to be a British Bulldogs one. And I was like, well, why would you do a British Bulldogs one when he's going singles in a Hall of Fame? Like, I just didn't understand the logistics, the money there. But then I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. It's him.
He meant to say 2-pack, but he didn't realize that he meant he's going to be with a special friend.
Yeah, he didn't tell me he was coming with the dog either. I didn't know that. So, that's just, and it comes with the hands that pop off. I mean, good on him. Good on him. Davey looks healthy there.
I mean, he looks more proper than compared to the other ones where his abs are too much. He looks like he's on some sort of diet. He's not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
He looks like he's the pride of all fluids.
Yeah, exactly. And they got his hair right. So, maybe in the future when we were talking about if they could make a long-haired, curly-haired one of Davey, then maybe it's possible that they'll do that. Or jeans.
I mean, that's the one figure they haven't released yet, and that is the 99 2001 edition of him. I mean, look, put him in the individual one. Put him with the Mean Street Posse in a 3-pack. I think any single one of us will take it as long as we get the Davey Boy, or they'll do what they did with Edge and Christian with with Edge with the Edge clones that was with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, where they just did the one figure and they just gave you extra heads.
Yeah, that would be. I think that would be really cool. And I'm trying to get a Funko Pop of my dad right now. WWE said that he's not on their list or on their next list, but they'll keep it in mind. But I'll be persistent.
It's on the list. There's a list. I've seen some of the lists, behind the scenes list of some of the toys that come out. Sadly, there's certain ones that I got made for someone and then I didn't get the credit for it, which I'm still complaining about. So, but there's a list, and the Bulldogs list is on there, especially the fact that, remember, we're looking at a Japanese company, and Dynamite Kid and the British Bulldog did wrestle in Japan. And as far as also those figures, New Japan can easily release a figure as well too, with your permission.
Well, I'm trying. I'm working on it. So, I mean, after I've got that, pretty much almost every little box for Davey has been ticked that I've created.
I think once you get the Funko Pops, I could just see a nice stack to here at the convention, all piled up. Funko Pops, exclusives. I mean, you can always call them up, and they can always send you like a whole case, like a whole treasure.
I love it. I want the dog. I want a Davey one, the braids. This whole look, and with the dog. That's Bulldog. That's in a little, because people are telling me like, oh, they love the accessories. The Pops love the accessories. I'm like, yeah, put the dog with it. That'll be its accessory. So
if we don't see that within the next couple of years, because we've talked about this many times, as long as we bring it up, Funko will eventually make it. I mean, look, if you weren't going to come on today, we were going to talk about actually 4 Funko Pops that have been brought up recently, made now, that they shouldn't have been made because a couple of shows have been over. Yeah. And we don't even know if people remember these shows because they were shows on HBO. So Funko has that thing where if it's talked about enough or there's enough pull, make a few phone calls, put a few posts. Maybe there's a few people online that can make custom Funko Pops of the British Bulldog and just keep reposting them saying, how cool would this be if this was on my real Funko Pops collection, nicely numbered via WWE or via wrestling?
Well, Team Davey, if whoever's watching this, let's get to work. Because
Team Davey for Funko Pop. I mean, we're doing it. I laugh at this one because every now and then we'll do a hashtag. You know what? Let's.
Hashtag Team Davey.
Hashtag Team Davey for Funko.
Hashtag Team Davey for Funko. Yeah.
Yes. Team Davey for Funko. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the first happening here right now. Let's start the campaign. Team Davey for Funko. Let's start the hashtag. I mean, if we start this here, we start this tomorrow, wherever it may be. Team Davey Funko.
Let's make it happen.
Actually, to be honest, I actually should say this one instead because people will be like, "Who's Davey?" Because if you're not a huge wrestling fan, you don't know who Davey Boy Smith is. But 100% people know who the British Bulldog is. It actually
Ooh,
should be
Bulldog.
Team British Bulldog for Funko
I like that.
because everyone remembers the British Bulldog. And if you're grabbing a Heart Foundation with the British Bulldog logo on it, and you got Bulldog merch, as you mentioned before. What was the merchandise company that you're that's currently carrying your dad's merch?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, what's the name of the company that's currently holding
Oh,
the British
sorry.
Bulldog merch?
Wrestle Merch Central.
So one more time.
Wrestle Merch Central.
Wrestle Central. So if you don't have your merch, go get it from Wrestle Merch Central. You can also get it. Don't they have them on not T Public, Pro Wrestling Tees as well too?
Yeah, he's got so Wrestle Merch Central. You'll get cups, mugs, T-shirts, hats, towels, anything pretty much you can think of. The leather vests you can get replicas of those, hand painted. And then Pro Wrestling Tees, it's just got like your standard British Bulldog shirts and also British Bulldogs shirts as well on there. So those are his top 2 stores currently right now. But Wrestle Merch Central, it's made in England. Everything is handmade, and I'm very happy it has started. So they can make 20 takers. They need a Davey Boy. Yeah, thank you, Mike. 100%.
They can if they can sit there and push out every single John Cena and Undertaker.
Multiples
I mean,
of those.
Look, I mean, the fact that they keep making a Bret Hart. I'm not seeing enough Bulldog stuff, and I have family in England, and every time we beat up my cousin, he he was Team British Bulldog. So there's a bit of history for people like me and for her, and especially for Virgie, this means something to all of us. I mean, look, let's go with the hashtag, Team British Bulldog for Funko. Let's make something happen, guys. Come on.
Well, look
Build
what
a Funko.
happened so far.
Happen.
Look everything that's happened with him so far, with everybody that's been contributing, and we're gonna make this happen.
Make it happen, Captain.
Right.
Any stories that any stories that still pop up in your head about your dad?
I mean,
like when you go out to dinner, like something happens, or like you're at home with your brother, he says something and it just reminds you of dad immediately. Or there's sometimes like you have your back turned to your brother and he says something and it's something like dad will say, something that, Davey would say in the house.
Well, I just thinking, one of the things I remember going to, I think it was McDonald's with him. And I used to get the breakfast meal or whatever, and we were at the drive-thru, and the guy was like, "Oh my God, you're the British Bulldog," and he was like, "No, I'm not." He gave me the food, and I was like, "Why did you say that?" He's like, "I don't want to be the British Bulldog today." I was like, "Okay, fair enough."
So every time you go to McDonald's, there's that nice little memory of like, "Yo, you're the British Bulldog." Oh, no.
Yeah, and I was like, because that was maybe 1 or 2 times that I ever saw my dad I don't want to talk to a fan right now. But that was one of maybe 2 times I ever saw.
Nice.
Yeah. So
you just wanted his chicken nuggets and his French fries and wanted to go.
That's all he wanted. He's like, no, I don't, because what ended up happening was like he wouldn't be able to go about his day. Or like we'd be eating and somebody would come up but my dad never said no. He never, he'd get swarmed. And
I've heard stories. A friend of mine who works at a diner here in New York, being right across the street from NASA Coliseum, there was one time I believe The Rock and I think The Godfather went to his diner, and there was a screw of kids outside, and I remember both guys telling the staff, if you can hold them back for a few minutes, we just want to eat our meal. And then we'll get them to sign whatever the hell we want. Like, did your dad ever go through that? It was like telling the staff, like, can you give me a break? I just want like 10 minutes, 20 minutes to just relax, eat.
Nice hot meal, and then he'll do.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. There was, I think, a couple of times when he ate, and then like when he would work out, I think he would tell like the front desk people, like, just if I could just get my workout done, like, and then after, because he'd be very focused and concentrated on his working out. And I remember one time we were seeing Harry amateur wrestle somewhere, and him and I came and we showed up late for it. and he just got like literally swarmed, and like people, like I just like it was like a stampede of people, and like I got lost in the mix. And I remember my dad was like, "Look, I just want to see my son wrestle. You know, I can't sign anything right now." And there was a lot of nasty kids that made nasty comments, and they were like, "Yeah." And you know, I remember saying to my dad, "I'm like, that's not fair. Like, you didn't do anything wrong." And he was like, "That's just, you know, that's what I deal with. That's it. Like, I can't make everyone please everybody."
A few times now, personally, in your own personal life as well, too, I guess, right? Has that happened? Has that happened a few times where you have to tell someone, "Hey, can you like relax? I need to go do this, and then later we'll take a photo or something"?
I've had that. Like, I'll be in the like a bathroom, and as somebody will, like a girl will be like, "Oh," like, and, like it's just like if I'm at like a wrestling event. It's not like, you know, if I'm at. But I've had that, and I've had one time I walked out of the bathroom, and a guy was out there like waiting to talk to me, and he was like, "I saw on your Twitter that like you announced like you were coming to this comedy show," and he was out there waiting, and I was like,
"Oh,
that's not good."
Oh,
yeah. And he was like, "I emailed you contacting you about a picture. I haven't received it yet." And I was like, "I gotta go right now." And I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah. So that's happened.
Did you leave the building, or did you go to security
I just went.
at
I
the
just
place?
went to another section. I just walked.
Okay.
I just went because it was like a big, not an arena. It was just like a venue. It was a comedy show. Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, that's why you just got to be so careful, like where your location and what you post. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was harmless, but I was like I came like out of the sliding doors, and I was like,
Gotta go.
Yeah.
Rob brings something kind of funny and interesting. He asked, "Do you have any guilty pleasure songs?" I know of one song that was in the car when we were driving, but that's a me and you story. But
okay, well, right now it was like playing randomly on my iPhone. It was a song called "Show Me Heaven," and it was that movie, I think, Days of Thunder, I think, with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Okay, yes.
If you Google "Show Me Heaven," it's like this like '90s like ballad, but right now that's my guilty pleasure set.
Not Spice Girls. Not Spice Girls.
Well, Spice Girls. That's not like a guilty. Like, I'm not embarrassed with Spice Girls because they're like, you know, girl power. They were my favorite band of all time at one point.
Sadly, I was so looking forward to 2020 to going at least a few of those shows.
Oh my god, I know. How sad is that? I remember you were telling me about that. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Yeah, just like kind of like I like those like sappy songs. That's
Richard
my
Marx
pleasure songs.
So you like total 80s sap, give some Richard Marx, give you that like slow jam beat.
Yeah, give me Michael Bolton Said I Love You, But I Lied.
Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
This one seems to be a little for your brother, but I don't know if you want to answer this. Any chance of your brother making an appearance in AEW? Would love to see him versus Cody Rhodes.
You never know. That's
time will. I mean, look, at this rate right now, can I answer this in a way?
Sure.
Your brother is a free agent. If he's not going back to WWE, which we really don't know, there is the 2/other companies that are around, technically 3, and it's up to him to decide where he goes, and we'll just have to be glued to our TVs.
We're just going to be glued, me included, myself included, because I have no idea, but you know, we'll just have to see, and I think whatever, it will be really very positive, very good.
Bergie, you got any questions? Anything that you remember as far as Bulldog stuff that has always been to your attention?
I mean, question, was there anybody that your dad ever wanted to have a wrestling match against, like that he never got a chance, and he always was like, you know what, I'd really like to, you know, against that guy or something? It doesn't even have to be like a Hulk Hogan or somebody like that.
Hulk Hogan was one.
He actually did want to wrestle.
Was the one he wanted to wrestle.
Oh.
But was there a dream match that he did actually finally get that was like, all right, I can't get Hogan, but I want like the Ultimate Warrior, or I want, you know, somebody like that? Was there anybody like that your dad really wanted a match against, and, you know, would get it? Or maybe not, but it was like that dream match he wanted that you remember?
The only person he spoke about that I personally heard was Hulk Hogan. He
Mhm.
wanted that. That was like his dream match and he wanted it to happen in England.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so almost like Bret Hart versus Bulldog. But would he have taken the loss, or would he have?
I think he would have been
Or
okay with it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's who he wanted. And I think they talked about it. And I think him and Hulk wanted to do like a WCW tour there. And I think when he was going back to WCW in the late '90s, like he wanted, like he was pushing for that.
I mean, it
oh,
would
that
have
would
been
have
a
been
hell of a
nice.
match. I mean,
I know.
you got, Hulk Hogan, the American hero, versus British Bulldog, England's hero in a way.
Yep.
It's a hell of a matchup. I could
That's
have
what he
seen that.
wanted. Yeah.
That could have been something like around a July 4th type thing, British America, stuff like that. You could have made a little battle thing of it.
July 4th weekend in the
Yep.
UK, and
Yep.
then it could either be a no contest, which will be really interesting, or it could go. I mean, it'll just easily go to Hulk Hogan, but it still would be a really fun match, and
Oh, heck yeah.
that's a dream match to put on WWE 2K20 right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was even a point where I think when my dad was going back to WWF, I think Hulk even contacted him and was like, "I'll buy you out of it. Like, come, like, let's do this." But my dad, he didn't go down that route. But I think that was something he always wanted to explore. Like, that was what he wanted to do.
That was your dad's, the British Bulldog's dream match would have been Hulk Hogan, win or lose, just to have a good storyline with a nice pay-per-view finish. I
Yeah.
think that'd be great.
Yep.
To see
What
two of
would-
them cut the promos for that would have been really cool, because I think they would have had a hell of a promo going back and forth. You get somebody like, and honestly, I'd love to have Mean Gene Okerlund in the middle of that, doing it and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
You get that. That's royalty right there. You got three guys here. They're legends of the industry. To do that, I think would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, Mean Gene in the middle, knowing what the Hart family was like, but also at one point being on Hulk Hogan's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Coulda,
But
woulda, shoulda.
what wrestler would you have liked to see your dad wrestle? If it wasn't going to be your dad's dream match, what would have been your dream match to see your dad wrestle with?
That's a good question. Again, probably Hulk Hogan. I think Ultimate Warrior and him would have had a good match.
Yes. Hell
I would
yeah.
have liked to have seen that. I saw him wrestle The Rock, so that was cool.
Yeah, your dad wrestled Rock, Triple H, and he had a few tick for tat moments with Stone Cold Steve. He had many matches with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So
Yeah, he
we
did.
at least got the brunt of the Attitude Era. Like, I love the fact that your dad is the beginning of the Attitude Era and towards the end of the Attitude Era, where you got a lot of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then when he comes back, it's a lot of Triple H and The Rock, Big Show, a lot of Undertaker matches with him as well too.
Yeah.
Was there a guy that your dad liked to wrestle a lot because of the way they handled themselves in the match, the way he knew, all right, this guy, I know he's going to wrestle me, good, like he's going to put a good show on. Was there somebody like that your dad enjoyed?
I think Owen and obviously Brett. I'm just like going through.
What about the later guys? What about the later guys? Like,
guys?
yeah, what about like 99, 2000 when he was back? Like,
Steve Blackman, I think.
Okay.
I think he had good chemistry with him. Eddie Guerrero, I think he liked that match. I'm just trying to think. I think he enjoyed wrestling The Rock. I think, yeah, he liked that. Who else did he wrestle in those days? Because he did tell me. I think Edge he liked.
Had Edge, he had Val Venus. I remember he had a match with Val Venus.
He's
my God.
wrestled Big Boss Man.
He's
the
wrestled
Crash
Kane,
Holly, Kane.
Undertaker. Yeah, he was part of the Hardcore series. I mean, look,
Yep.
those Hardcore matches, I kind of wish he didn't have the Hardcore title on his hand, but especially with him versus Steve Blackman, Al Snow, a little bit of
Yep.
Mankind.
Yep. I think. Yeah, Edge he liked. Steve Blackman.
Quick, let's ask the fans while you're thinking of this one. Who would you like if it wasn't a Hulk Hogan that we have mentioned or Ultimate Warrior? Who would you like to see British Bulldog wrestle? whether it be from the past or from the current present. Take out Rock, take out Triple H, take out Stone Cold, because you can go back to the WWE Access WWE Network and watch those matches over and over again. But who would be past, present, or current wrestler you would love to have seen British Bulldog wrestle against or with?
I would have honestly, I would have liked to have seen him against the Hulk. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior would have been a nice one. And honestly, I'd love to have seen your dad against Andre the Giant.
Totally.
Somebody like that, like a legend of that size and stature. Like those are guys.
Good one.
Sting would definitely be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. They were tag team together. Did he go head against Macho Man?
Not that I remember.
Ooh,
no,
I don't. Oh, I totally forgot about Macho Man too. That's a good one too.
I don't think your dad wrestled Macho Man. I can be 100% wrong with this one. Someone can say if it was, but from my recollection, no, I don't think your dad ever wrestled Macho Man. If Hulk Hogan's on that list of guys he never wrestled, and you saying Ultimate Warrior's on that list, Macho Man is definitely on that list of someone British Bulldog did not wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at that tray there. And I was like, Macho Man, he's a good one. But I was like, I don't think he wrestled.
When you look at that tray too, and you're seeing that's where your dad is a legend. He's sitting up there with those three other, legends. And that just proves to the fact that your father had a long career and what he was able to accomplish in WWE and WWF. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. He's up there. Like, as you can see, he's literally on the tray. he's a legend. And
he's been on. Your dad's been on T-shirts. He's been on merchandise. He's been on cozies. He's been on lunchboxes, trays.
He's on, So, and I'm just happy now that like his name and everything, it's being brought up again, and new fans or fans that were born sadly 2001 2, they can now get to see Davey on TV in some capacity. Rewatch the stuff.
Apparently, we've taken up a bunch of time. Apparently, someone says Chris Jericho. I think your dad did wrestle.
They did wrestle each other. I've got a match of that.
Yeah, he did wrestle Jericho.
I got one that I think I would have loved to have seen. Kurt Angle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, your dad missed out on Kurt.
They were a tag team a couple of times, but they never went face to face.
Yes.
That would have been nice because of him with the American thing versus the British. That would have been another good one for a matchup. That would have a heck of a promo that would have been cut.
Yeah.
Someone said Wayne Barrett would be a cool match also.
Yeah. Yep, that's very good. I mean, like in today's people, yep, for sure.
All right.
Today, I would like to see him against somebody like Roman Reigns or something like that too. Because
Drew?
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
I would see your dad being Drew McIntyre's manager. If anything, I see your dad walking in the ring with Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being the manager and stuff like that. Yeah, I could do that.
For sure.
Or he would start his own faction where he was the manager of the faction of like all the European guys. And maybe if you're, this is hypothetically speaking, if your dad was still around, I think this title would also still be around as well too. Because at one point we had a huge resurgence of European wrestlers, and a lot of fans were begging for the European title to come back because I believe the W at one point had over 12 wrestlers all from Europe. I mean,
you just made me think too. What my dad today were with WWE NXT UK. That would have been.
Oh yeah, he would have been commissioner. He would have been.
Yeah.
He would have moved you guys to the UK back again. He would have ran that thing. He would have been commissioner of WWE UK, and they would be like, Triple H would be like, "Here's the keys to this championship company. Here you go."
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think NXT UK and all that would exist if it hadn't been for him.
Every time you see that title, I mean, that's a beautiful title. I wish WWE just get rid of. I wish they would get rid of that silly logo belt that they have and do something very similar to the European title. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's one of my favorite title belts. What the? Oh my God, Harry! There you go. All right. right now, Georgia, the mic is yours. Any promos? We're about to finish the show right here.
Yes.
Your turn to
So
cut a
Take
promo.
us away. Take
Cut a
us away.
promo.
Promo,
Well,
anything, whatever you like to do.
thank you guys for who joined and listened, and it was really cool looking back on these action. Well, I call them dolls, but action figures, and telling you some of my memories about them, and getting to chit chat with you again. And this is one of the last interviews I'm doing for a while, so because I've just been doing back to back things. So it is.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. And I hope 2021 is a lot better and we can see Davey enter his rightful place in the Hall of Fame. Fingers, toes, everything crossed. And if you guys want to follow, as you see my handles, if you want to follow what Davey's going to be doing in the future, the journey that we're all on. It's at the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. You can also follow him on Twitter at _ Davey Boy Smith and on Facebook Davey Boy Smith. And you've got me, Georgia J Smith, and you got Harry at DB Smith Jr. And we'll see what the 2021 has for the Smith family, where we're going, what we're doing. And check out Icons. It's going to start WWE Icons on the WWE Network on January 31st after Royal Rumble. Davey's episode, I think, is going to be the second last or the last episode, because from what I've been told, it is the, not being biased, but it's one of the most anticipated episodes. So check it out. You'll see us. And I'm just really grateful and happy that we're all here talking about Davey. And, we're all here for the common thing, which is him. So thank you guys.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget Team British Bulldog for Funko as well too.
Yes.
Go follow Georgia Smith and the British Bulldog Instagrams as well too. My name is Aras Zandia. This is Michael Burgi. Thank you everyone who has joined us today. Have a happy holidays, guys, and we will see you all actually Sunday with This Week in Pop Culture. And if not that, we'll see you next Tuesday right here on This Week in Toy Culture. Good night, everyone. Thank you all for joining.
Happy holidays.
Hey, guys.